driving to Huntsville today, and I thought that I would document it, because I always talk about things after they happen, never during the time that they happen. And I usually feel very differently when it happens. I am somebody that gets over things fairly quickly, so even if it did upset me, or even if I was anxious, by the time that I talk about it, I'm fine. And so I was like, might as well do it in real time. So I'm about to drive to Huntsville. It's the furthest that I've ever driven since I started back driving. So I'm not nervous about it. I don't like interstate traffic, and so it's a lot of interstate. So that's the only concerning factor, is that I'm just going to be on the interstate for a really long time. But I will let you know how I feel when I get there. I'm at the house. I made it. Traffic wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. It was okay. The thing I hate the most about driving is that I don't like interstate driving, and most of the way up here was interstate. I forgot to turn the camera on when I got back in the car, but I'm back at home now. The drive wasn't that bad. It was Driving is never bad. It's just if there's a lot of cars on the road, it sometimes makes me nervous. But it's never, bad. I haven't had a bad experience yet. But it's not my favorite thing to do. But it was never my favorite thing to do. So that has less to do with the stroke and more to do with just my personality, I suppose. Because I never liked it. I went to Huntsville to go to my cousin's baby's second birthday party. Kia's birthday parties, the adults just sit there, and that's all I did. I stayed about an hour, and then I came on back because, I don't have any kids. I wasn't doing anything but just sitting there. But I wanted to support her, and be there to support her. And I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. I felt like I could do it. I felt like it would be fine, but I needed to test it out to make sure. And it was. Was there any trouble on the road? No, I just went and came back. I wouldn't say I had any problems. No, it was fine. The trip was fine. I was in the car for a long time. Now, when I sit down for a long time, my knees hurt. I think that's just from being old. I don't think that has anything to do with the stroke. I think I'm just an old person, but it went pretty well, I would say. And she had like a water themed Sesame Street kind of thing. So the kids were playing in the kiddie pools and stuff, and so it was fun for them. I think, you know, it's always so funny to see kids play and to remember when I was that age, which was a long, long time ago. Um, but they were just having so much fun. Good for them. I wish that I would have fun in the kiddie pool. Now I would not. That baby kept on splashing me, so I got wet. Maybe should have wore a bathing suit, but I highly doubt that I would have wore one. Even if I had known he was gonna splash me, I still probably wouldn't have worn no bathing suit. Just because the only bathing suits that I have are two pieces, and I would have felt weird sitting out there in a bikini. I just would have felt strange. So, but it was a pretty good experience. I came because I always talk about these things after the fact, and I have a tendency to like make it not a big deal later, and even when it's a big deal in the moment. But this was really not a big deal, even in the moment. I felt fine. I, you know, wasn't a fan of driving that far, but I did it, and I didn't have no problem. So there's that. So yeah, that's all. I just wanted to talk about some of my experiences. I can just talk about the stroke in general, but how I'm adjusting back to my regular life. Taking trips to Huntsville is a part of my regular life because we go up there for Thanksgiving. So I was going to have to drive up there even eventually. So I did a little early, and it was fine. Just being in the car for that long, I think it's just hard on my knees, and I need to, stress when I get out. But that's it. As far as the traffic and me driving, I didn't feel nothing. I used to feel anxiety when I drove. I don't feel that now. And I think that was just because so many cars were on the road, and that's made me nervous. But because I live like 40 minutes away from my job, I'm having to drive that every day, twice a day. And so through doing that, I just got better. So I guess some of the things I just have to do in order for me to feel better about them. So yeah, I went to Huntsville, came back, and it was fine. I realized that I did not close up the video yesterday. Today I cut my grass. I'm so tired. But I'm glad that I can do things, physical things like that. I probably look rough because I have makeup on, but it's because I was outside. I figured I was going to have time to do it next weekend because it's Father's Day and all that, and so I just decided to go ahead and do it today. You know, does it feel different from when I used to do it? It feels the same. I am 41 years old, so it's tiresome. But I think it was always going to be that way just because I'm getting older. I don't know, but I think it went pretty well considering, what it could have been. Um, and I couldn't do this kind of stuff when I first came home, and I did not like that. And so it is probably good that I can. Um, you know, I I don't know. Um, I'm tired. Sorry. Um, I think it went pretty well. I had not planned to do this. But I got up and the sun was shining, and I was like, well, I'm not go ahead and get it done. And so I went ahead and did what I needed to do. It needed to be cut. I'm sitting on the back porch now trying to cool off. Before I go outside. Air conditioning is so cold after you've been outside, and then you go in, and it's even more cold than it already is. So I'm just sitting out on the back porch to try to cool off because I cannot sit in the house. It's too much. Um, I still feel pretty good about yesterday. I didn't. I don't feel any worse about it. I went up there and came back and it was fine. It was a long trip. But I drive like 40 minutes to work, so I mean, it's like um, it was a little bit more. What else can I say? I don't know. Um, oh yeah, I just wanted to come back and in the video and tell you that next week we'll be back to the regular schedule program. But I thought, why not? Because I do have a tendency to downplay stuff, right? If I talk about it later, even if it is bad in the moment. But this wasn't bad in the moment. It was fine. I had real concerns about being on the interstate just because there's so many cars, but it was fine. Um, I mentioned it was fine. And cutting the grass was fine. Um, like I said, I get more tired now, but I think that is just because I'm older, and so it doesn't feel the same. You know, I have to take breaks in between the front yard and the backyard, and I didn't have to do that before. Um, my dog ran up the porch, and now he's barking. Okay, I'm going to end this video here.